Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. All right, we have some juicy update on this crazy crime that happened with the singer David. I talked about this last week. So there is this 20-year-old singer named David. He has some hits. He was on tour, and his Tesla was found because there was a very bad smell coming from it. So it got towed, and in it, in the front trunk of the Tesla, they found a very decomposed body. That person we now know was a missing teen. She's been missing since 24, over a year. She was only 15. Her name is Celeste Rivas. And they connected it to David because it was his car that was registered to him. He has canceled his tour dates. He is supposedly cooperating with the authorities on this. Her family is from Lake Elsinore. There was a vigil for her. The body was so decomposed, it was only 77 pounds, and they don't know what caused her death, being that it was such a decomposed body. That's going to take some time, I think, for the autopsy to figure out. Maybe that's why they're waiting to officially arrest him. Maybe they're trying to figure out when she died and if, in fact, his alibi would stick. Maybe he was in Europe or something for 2 months, and it would be impossible for him to do this. They were, by all accounts, a couple. It sounds like there's a teacher that has spoken to his classroom and is doing interviews that he actually taught them. Like, he had each of them in his classroom, I think, at one point, but certainly knew her. And he's telling his class, like, beware. This girl went missing. Now her body has been found. She got involved with a man that was older than she, who she met on the internet, on social media. So it was sort of like a lesson to his class to be so careful. People are very confused to where her parents are in all of this, or her family. You know, before we'd always hear about trafficking with teenagers, there was a time many years ago, decades ago, when a young teen girl would go missing and they were just called runaways. Like, oh, they just ran away. They just ran off with a boyfriend, or they hated their parents and hopefully we'll find them. But it wasn't like this person is missing, either, kidnapped, trafficked, dead. They went on their own volition or whatever. So I don't know if that was the case, but the parents or the family did say she was missing. So she was reported missing. They share a tattoo of the exact same thing on the same inside of the middle finger, named Shush. So supposedly they met when she was only 13. So that would have made him 17, maybe 18. He's only 20 now. And this is where it gets crazy. He had a song called, the song is called Romantic Homicide. Came out on his 2023 album. And there's a video to it where it's a body being put inside the trunk of a car and being dragged. There is a romantic actress, a girl playing a romantic lead in it that people feel she sort of resembles Celeste. He has a bloody shirt on him. He was selling shirts. From the video, his merch had these like bloody shirts where it's like handprints of blood on a white shirt that you could buy. Of course, people are very curious about it. Okay, Juicy Scoopers, I want to talk to you about romance on Audible, because there are some weeks that are just harder than others that really call for a true escape. And that's why I want to talk to you guys about romance on Audible. I love listening to these audiobooks about romance. It just gets me out of my daily life. And it's just a great way to also get tasks done, whether you're like working out in one of those new weight vests that everybody's doing and you want to go that extra mile and get back in the groove. This makes you walk longer because you're actually listening to a full romantic. Well, for me, I like rom-com more, but there's all different kinds. There's thrillers, there's fantasy, there's different eras in history that you can just escape to. And it's all of the romantic sense, which, as you know, if you're like me, you just love that. And it's really just fun just to hear the story in your ears as you walk around, whether you're like getting ready for a date. Maybe you need a little inspiration. Maybe it's been a minute since you've been out there. Maybe you're in a relationship and you need to get those juices flowing again to get excited to know that you actually do have someone to come home to. And maybe you want to tell them about this romantic novel that you were listening to this whole time, that you were listening to this great audiobook that just got you thinking what this life would be like. And I think in this world, we sometimes forget that it's really important to go with an audiobook because you need to get your mind in a whole different space. And then what's also really fun is when I come back to the book or when I'm thinking about the audiobook, I'm like remembering what I was doing while I was listening to it because I'm multitasking. I'm getting this great way to get my mind off of stressful things because I'm entering this whole different world, but I'm actually doing laundry, organizing my makeup drawer, trying to get rid of some clothes that I haven't worn in a year. I love doing that. And then by listening to something that has nothing to relate to that, you actually, I think, become more productive. The audiobook that I'm listening to right now is called Rich Girl Summer by Lily Chu. And this is such a juicy scoop, Heather McDonald type of book, because I'm not ready for it to be the end of summer. I'm really not. And I just love anything that just takes me to rich people, lakes, rosé, champagne, and romance. And this book has it all. Along with family secrets, there is this girl, Valerie, and she's an event planner. And her very wealthy client gives her this proposition he says, come to the lake for the summer and pretend to be my long lost daughter because I need you to figure out some weird stuff that's going on in my family. And the only other person that knows her true identity is this guy, Nico. And there's major chemistry. And what I kind of love is when you're listening to it, we're hearing both of their voices. So it's better than just a person just reading the novel themselves. And then he said, and then she said, no, we have a person playing Valerie and we have the person playing Nico. And I found out they are real husband and wife in real life. So they've got the chemistry. They're the ones who are narrating this like love story. And so there's that going on. And then there's like some really funny parts. And I'm always like very intrigued by stories where someone just goes to a whole nother place that they don't know anybody and they're really pretending to be somebody else. I've always kind of fantasized about doing that myself. I've always really enjoyed movies and books that are about that, where a girl just has to pick up and go to a whole different place. And I like this kind of like weird deception thing that's happening. And I love that there's such great romance. It's a really great book. I know that you guys will love it, but there's so many to choose from. I like Rich People Falling in Love. I like summer. I like warm weather. That's what I chose. But like I said, if you want to get more into like a whole different era or history or more of like, a whole nother fantastical world, they all are there too. And I just think it's such a healthy way to put our minds off of our heads and into a whole nother world. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys about Romance on Audible, because I really think you will love it. If you're like me, and I know you are, then I know that you love romance and you're going to love romance audiobooks. Visit audible.com for a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook, or download the Audible app today and start listening to the best in romance audiobooks. This guy has said about it, showed it, talked about it, sang about it, has the tattoo, everything. And so people are like, why is he not being arrested. And the only thing I can think of is that they need more time to figure out when, in fact, her life ended and how. And they just really want to make sure before they arrest him that he is definitely the one. Could he have had someone else do it? Maybe there was, they were romantic for a while, and then somebody in his entourage became involved with her, and maybe that person is the one that in fact did it. In case he's telling that, we don't know. But the fact that he was obsessed with this, wrote a song about romantic homicide, and here a girl that he clearly, in my opinion, had a romantic relationship with, though that is quite controversial, being that he was in fact over 18 and she was a child. That obviously wouldn't have been great for his career if it had come out. Yes, Elvis Presley was, over 18 dating Priscilla Presley, but that was, 60 years ago, and that it does not fly today. So, because of the interest in him and his song and all the connections and how it's basically he's just telling on himself. According to this, David earned his biggest streaming day of all time on Spotify on September 21st with 12.1 million streams. Just that particular day. So it's insane. And I hope the family gets their answers. Supposedly a spokesperson for the family has started a GoFundMe, I assume to pay for her funeral costs. Last I checked, it was the goal was $20,000. I'm sure they've gotten to it by then, but we have yet to hear from the actual parents and how long they were really concerned, if they know anything about the relationship that she was having with this singer, how they met, where the tattoo happened from. Of course, who did the tattoo? I'm curious about that, since you have to be 18 to have a tattoo, and clearly she wasn't. There's so many questions. So that is really what everyone is talking about. Okay, little update on Real Housewives OC before I get to my hilarious interview with the very funny comedian Rachel Feinstein. I just want to cover this. So, in the war between Gretchen and Tamra and bringing up the past, as we've spoken before, there was a very disturbing episode 13 years ago or 17 years ago, I think, in which Tamra is seen with her adult son, who was 22 at the time. Let's get Gretchen, who is with a older man who was her fiance, who has since passed. Let's get her naked, wasted, so she does something she regrets. And they film it all. They show him going in the bathroom with her and trying to kiss her, and it's all on mic. And it's all available for you to watch on Peacock today. That gets out there. She says, I should have gone to the hospital. She tells Katie. Katie said that she went to the hospital. Then she said I should have gone to the hospital, but I didn't. So it's a case of woulda, coulda, shoulda. Is Gretchen a liar? What's Tamra trying? Is Tamra trying to catch her in a lie to, get the heat off of her for what she did 17 years ago, which I'm sure she wouldn't do today and is very inappropriate. Then we find out that Tamra, I guess, tried to be one of those Real Housewives that had a song during the No Hate campaign of 2008, in which there was a whole campaign of wanting to make it legal that gay couples could get married. And so you would do this photo shoot. A lot of people did it. And so she was going to do a No Hate, because it was Prop 8 campaign. And so Gretchen says in the episode, she tried to be a singer. I have 4 songs, but Tamra, who's made fun of Real Housewives pop singers, actually has a song too. And they call Slade, and then Slade on a speaker, on a FaceTime says, you want the song, or do you want when it was recorded when she was having sex with this boy band guy? This guy was in a 90s boy band that supposedly Tamra got with while recording this song. And while they were being romantic, it was the recording in the studio was still going on from when she tried to sing this song. And this was 13 years ago. And this guy is married, and he was married then, or at least with his now wife. And, Tamra denied it, and she was either with Simon or just starting to date Eddie, but it was before she was married to Eddie. And so this all comes out, and it isn't really boding well with the audience. The audience is like, why is it that when we bring back an old cast member, for whatever reason, it's all about hashing up old drama. It happened with, Alexis Bellino a little bit with the boyfriend, and now it's happening with Gretchen and Tamara. And it's just a very interesting thing. It's like every day it kind of shifts in who is really obsessed with whom. Is it Tamara obsessed with Gretchen? Is it Gretchen obsessed with Tamara? Who's digging up the old thing? Who's keeping the skeleton? Who's the skeletons, or who's the bone collector? And I don't think the audience really cares, in my opinion, if in fact Tamara did do something sexual with this guy 13 years ago. I just don't think anyone cares. Or maybe it was more than that. Let's see. 2008. What year are we in? How many years? I can't even do the math. Anyway, it was a long time ago. Doesn't seem like people care. And so every day the waves shift of who really is the enemy here. And the rest of the episode seemed a little shticky. They had a sleepover. They went to the Abbey, and the girls went to the Abbey and they were dancing around. And ever since I heard from gay men and my friends that they actually are over a bunch of straight women going to gay bars. They're like, can we just have one thing? Like, we're not that into it. We're not really that into having the bachelorette parties roll up in here and as if they're going, on a museum trip or something. I don't know. And so I'm like, God, are they even excited to see these housewives come and like dance on a table and do this whole thing? So they do that with Gretchen and Emily and Heather. And then the next morning, after they have their $15,000 sleepover where they bring in the beds and everything like you would for your little spoiled 12-year-old to have a sleepover with like the canopies in the living room and the candy bar. They drill Gretchen about who pays for what in her household with Slade and why have they not gotten married. And she's put on the spot. And then that's sort of uncomfortable, and that's going to all come out. And she was on Watch What Happens Live defending herself. So we are watching, as you know, Gretchen and Slade came on my show maybe like 6 weeks ago or so, a month ago. And it was quite juicy. They'd never done my show before. And they are a fascinating couple. And this is all playing out. And where it's going to land and who is on whose team and what's happening. So that's the juice there. And some people are tired of it and they're like, I'm over this darkness. I'm over bringing up the past. But I feel it's pretty juicy because it's all there for us to go back and watch on Peacock. So Peacock and Bravo must be loving this. And if anything, I think they will continue to bring back past housewives as a friend of, to stir the pot. I think they did it with Alexis Bellino. I think they did it with Gretchen. And I think it will continue to happen in the franchise because I actually think it works. Okay. So now don't forget, you guys, to buy your tickets. Low ticket alert, November 14th at the BravoCon weekend, MGM Grand, Brandy Julie's prize guest, all Housewife Bravo fun, hilarity happening. HeatherMcDonald.net. Also, every Wednesday, brand new Juicy Crimes episodes drop. And right on the Juicy Crimes feed, the link is here below. Please subscribe to that. Spread the word. It's also on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. And leave a review if you are so inclined. So now with my very funny friend, Rachel Feinstein. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have a return favorite from the East Coast, comedian, mother, daughter, wife of a beloved firefighter, Rachel Feinstein. Welcome back to Juicy Scoop.
Thank you. I love it here. Look at this lovely young man. You're gorgeous. I wish for you mountains of ass. You're a marvelous young fella.
She's talking about my son, Drake, who is here producing this episode here. No, thank you for coming out. What brought you out to the East Coast besides coming on Juicy Scoop?
I'm working on this pilot that's based on my specials, but we're just like in the beginning stages now. We're like the studio's attached, but we're figuring it all out.
That is very exciting.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Do you feel inspired that there is another wave of sitcoms based on stand-ups' lives with the success of Leanne on Netflix?
I do. I think Leanne's hysterical.
Yes.
I like binge watch everything she does. Yeah.
I love her as a person too.
I don't know her personally. She's a delight.
She's such a
She's
delight and
hilarious.
so incredibly genuine.
That's what I've heard from everybody.
She hasn't changed yet. Like as a mom and a grandmother now just goes to her head. She just becomes like a complete bitch. Yeah, I think it's an interesting time to see like what if this wave could come back, because remember when it was so popular.
Yes.
And people were getting development deals that had no reason to get a development deal, but you get a little chunk of money.
Yeah.
And then the show wouldn't go. But, back when it's like there's always such a copycat thing. So I remember when Seinfeld hit, then Everyone Loves Raymond. Those were good. But then it seemed like everybody.
Yes.
Like, who's our Seinfeld? Oh, I'm the Boston Polish guy. Let's do a show about a Boston Polish family or whatever.
Yeah, you used to need 4 minutes to have a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
You needed 4 minutes of stand-up. You basically just had to go on TV and be like, I'm Russian, and you do the math, and a fun-loving shrug, and that would be your entire act, and then they would give you a TV show based on that.
So
you just
true.
had to
I
be
always said you had to have 4 minutes on a platter,
Yes,
spelling it
on a
out.
platter. Yeah, you
that
had to be
it's
my
let
dad's
me tell you,
from here, my mom's from there, yay, and that was it. Just just hurled $1 million right at your dumb face, but then you would go on tour and fucking bomb because you had no act.
I remember there was this girl during that time. Also, this same girl started how I did in LA. And so people would say, well, how you got to get up every night. You can't in New York. How are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know. But people have approached me and said, I think you have a sitcom in you. Because I did. I worked with my parents. I would do my mom's voice. I had these, these brothers that were kind of crazy and inept. I had, I did have all the makings for it. I still do. And, but it's just different now. Now it's, husband, kids, whatever. But,
no, even my aunt grew up near your family, and she was like, oh, the McDonald's, they're very exciting. They are very exciting. She was almost angry about it. She's like, they're a fun family. They're fucking interesting, Rachel. Lois said so. Yeah.
And I also think, this was one of the jokes this girl had, and I don't know where she is, what she's doing. If she's listening to this, it's her joke, whoever she is. And the joke was, I'm half Irish, half, I don't even know how to say it. Okay, Denmark is in Holland, right? So Danish, okay? I'm half Irish, half Danish. So that means I get drunk and drive into a windmill.
and then she got his show. Every joke I had was like that, by the way, when I started. It was just I have ADD and bulimia, so I go into the bathroom and I'm like, what did I come in here for? I don't know. I'm going to the mall. Every single thing I wrote was like
funny,
that. It was fun-loving shrug sitcom.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. Yeah.
If you are still overpaying for wireless, it is time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. Ditch overpriced wireless and their jaw-dropping monthly bills, unexpected overages, and hidden fees, because the plans start at just $15 a month. All the plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. You can bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. If I had needed this is absolutely what I would have used. I absolutely think it is such a great deal. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch to mintmobile.com/juicyscoop. That's mintmobile.com/juicyscoop. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Moms, I know you do everything for everyone else, and maybe you finally have launched your kids off into their new grade of school. You're making their lunches, you're making sure their dinner is right, And this is a new time for you too. It's a new school year for you to get right for you. And that's why I really love Live It Up Super Greens, because Live It Up Super Greens is an all-natural blend of over 20 superfoods formulated with organic vegetables, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and naturally derived ingredients. All you need to do is just one scoop. That's right, juicy scoop. One scoop a day can promote gut health, support your immune system, which is so important as we enter cooler months. Live It Up has become a quick and easy way for me to stay on the top of my health, and I want you to too. Live It Up is offering you 15% off your first order, including subscriptions, with code JuicyScoop, plus shipping's always free. Head to letsliveitup.com/JuicyScoop and use code JuicyScoop for 15% off your first Super Greens order. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I mean, in a way, I'm like, thank God I didn't change my aggressively Jewy name, because that didn't happen to me. And I don't think Rachel Feinstein, isn't it? Like, it needs to be like, I feel like I have a name that doesn't immediately, people don't want. Like, it's not like a hot name. I'm going to regret everything I'm saying right now. But yeah. I mean, Jews were not known for our hot names. I'm sorry. Yeah, like there's not a lot of like Susan Weintraubs in porn.
But I feel like back then, I feel like
no idea what my point is.
No, but I do kind of feel like back then I felt that when I would go to the Comedy Store back then, that it was all Jewish comedians, and I felt like, oh, if I had a really funny bar mitzvah bit,
right,
maybe I would get something, because it was just like,
no, there's plenty of Jews in comedy. I'm only talking about my name,
right?
Being not like the most beautiful name, like not the most like like people change their names. You know what I mean? Like Jon Stewart Jon Stewart was like, I don't know. I think it was Jeff Ross was Jeff Lifshultz. Jon Stewart, Jeff's a good friend of mine, but I'm just saying Jon Stewart was, I don't know, Sean Leibowitz or some shit. I don't know what he was, but yeah.
Right.
So I'm saying sometimes they kind of like, there's just a name that's a little bit. So I don't think that comedy has a lack of Jews in it.
No, I do think a good name is a good name if you're willing to change it. I always remember there was this comedian named Andrea Abbott.
Uh-huh.
And the story was that wasn't her name. Uh-huh. But she changed it so that when people would look for actresses to hire in like the SAG-AFTRA book, like it was literally a book, she would be at the top of the list because of having a double A name.
Oh, that's a really good point, though. Those things matter. They do.
I mean, then they did. Now I don't think,
yeah, but like sometimes that shit matters. So yeah, even when I named my special Big Guy, which is named after because my husband calls me Big Guy, but I still was thinking A, B, C. Like and also I run a little dumb, so that is also why I'm thinking of things like that.
I also think that's a great idea if you're thinking about a child's name, because, I remember my daughter's name is Mackenzie, my other son's name is Brandon, and then Drake. And you know what? Drake was the first one to be able to spell it, because it's fucking 5 letters.
Yeah, it's easy.
So like, Max knew how to spell his name at, 4. I would hope so, Max. I would hope so. Like... So if you're into bragging about your kid, think about these things when you give them a hard name with like an accent mark and, 2 things. Yes.
My daughter's Frankie, so it's not that hard. Well, her real name is Elena Francis Brennan, but we call her Frankie. But that's not that bad. That's not that hard. Yeah, I think she can swing that. She wants to be a cashier anyway, so she's going to be fine. Yeah. Her goals aren't too lofty.
How old is she now?
She's 5.
I love, okay, so you have a daughter. I raised, my stepdaughter as well, but I do identify more if I'm on the spectrum of identity as a boy mom, because the majority of my years of raising children were just these 2 boys being crazy and my husband. And I do feel that if I was able to have raised a husband and 2 sons before I ever started dating, I would have been a beast. I would have known nothing would have hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I would have I know.
Because you know what these animals are up to.
I'm just telling you.
You've watched them. You've tracked these, pigs. Again, you're a marvelous young lady. But you watch them from the beginning and you know how they work. Yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, I can't believe that I ever thought that a guy was even thinking about this at all.
Like
the
that's
things
the
that
thing I
look-
do realize with my husband, because when you go back in time and you're like, when you go back to your first date and you're like, oh, when you did this, I thought this, and my husband wasn't thinking. Like
They're
there's
never
there's
thinking.
no inner monologue. If you opened his
There's-
brain like it was a canister, there'd be like a Giants t-shirt and like a potato inside.
Like, remember when you were like going to prom or whatever with whether you like the guy or not, and you're like thinking, I bet he's wondering what my dress is going to look like and what color it is. Unless he's gay, he was not wondering.
Yeah.
He was just like, what time do I have to be there? And if I like you, I hope we make out or I get to finger you or something.
That's my husband in a nutshell. There's no secondary thought ever. There's no second thought. Like I'm telling you, if you opened up his head, there would just be like a cross and like, and like a lighter in it or something, like a big lighter.
I think the big problem is that women hype each other up too much. Mm-hmm. And they constantly are telling each other,
you deserve and you need somebody
you deserve something better and kick him to the curb and he doesn't care about you. And so then when you're like getting in a fight with your husband, you're like, if this was filmed and the world saw it, they would be
I
like,
do think that a lot, though.
Run for the hills.
Yeah.
He's horrible. But if you also just think, he's not a woman.
He's not a woman.
He's not your girlfriend. He's not your friend. He's not your sister. He's not your mother.
Every fight I've ever had with my husband, he has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, and usually he gets kind of sleepy in the middle because he just gets kind of fatigued. Nothing makes my husband have a good night's sleep like me sobbing. Like I'm just crying and he's just nodding off because he truly has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, what I need, what I want. It's anyone's guess in his mind. He just gets real. Yeah, he just goes. He's out like a light when I start weeping.
I'm just gonna say, you're not gonna get your needs met.
No.
By marrying a man.
And
by
also,
marrying a straight man. If you want to have a lavender marriage, I can
didn't know it was
totally
called a
see the
lavender
appeal.
marriage. That's the best phrase ever.
You haven't heard about a lavender marriage? It's making a comeback.
Oh, I
because
get
gay
it.
men are sick of other gay men. They're like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
They suck. And then women are just like, well, I don't want a straight man that like doesn't, So they're like, why don't we go back to like the 50s? When lavender marriages happened and people were happy. They still fucked enough to have a couple kids.
Yeah.
But then they were like best friends. They went antiquing.
I will say, antiquing is amazing. I will say that for some reason, when I was dating online, I attracted a lot of gay men and I would have the best banter with them. And then I get so excited because they would be funny. I'd be like, oh, he's hilarious.
But wait, so they were gay, but they were still like hoping to get married to a woman and hide it, or they didn't know
totally
they were
in
gay?
a closet. I didn't. I mean, in my mind, there's no way they didn't know, but they weren't admitting it to themselves on some level. But I had so many times because I get so excited and I'm such like a fucking hopeless, dumb romantic. And I'd be on the road and I would go back and forth with these guys on text. And by the end of the weekend, I was just like fucking humping every pillow available. I was like, this man is my husband. He's hilarious. He's fucking hot.
My God.
And I get to the date and he was like, smart pencil skirt. And I'm like, no fucking man that wants to be inside a woman knows what a pencil skirt is. Not
they
one.
would know what a pencil skirt is.
One guy said smart
Drake,
pencil skirt.
What do you think, if you had to guess, describe what a straight pencil skirt would look like on a woman?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
You just try for $100. Just try.
It's like it doesn't go out as much.
Okay, pretty good.
Not bad.
Where does it hit the leg? Where on the leg does it what do you mean low?
Like here, halfway?
No, not really. It's right under the
it's
knee.
right above. It's
He
like a
guessed
secretary.
mid calf.
Yeah.
That's called T length. God, get with it.
Yeah.
Fucking loser.
Yeah. Obviously, you don't like dick. Whatever. Not cool. I feel disgusting. I'm sorry.
I always think about,
what's
I
your
remember
size?
thinking there was now thank God my husband and I we do have our own bathrooms, which has been the greatest thing
Oh, it's
about
the best
this
thing for
house.
marriage.
But throughout the years, I was like, he has watched me put on my makeup forever. And I'm like, Peter, do you think that you could identify what these items are if you had to? Being that we've traveled, you've seen it laying around, which has irritated you, and he was like, no. And I'm like, I mean, how can you not know that this is for eyelashes and mascara? And then I thought, But I don't know how to do anything in the house. I mean, I know what a screwdriver is. I would not know how to fix something. I don't want.
Oh my God, no! I feel so bad because my daughter is like, "How come daddies can fix things, but mommies can't fix anything?" And I'm like, "Because that's true in our home." She's just like, "How come daddy knows how to fix all of my toys, and whenever something breaks, you just go ask daddy?" I'm just like such a dumb hole in that way. I'm just like, I don't know, ask dad. I'm the fun one, all right? But
I am the fun one too, and that's exactly what I was attracted
to. Party,
to.
yeah.
Peter likes to some of the beautiful traits he has. I felt like I picked a good match because I found this guy that did everything that I hated to do.
Yeah.
Just blew off and procrastinated about, and also didn't know how to do. So right off the bat, he had told me that he had like taken down like a whole cabinet in his condo himself and like made it more of an open concept kitchen.
Yeah, see, that puts me to sleep, but I need it done.
But
like,
I need it done. I was like, yeah. Because my mom always said, find someone who's handy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was because my dad wasn't, but he was. What was wrong with my dad is he wasn't handy.
But he thought he was?
Yes. And so then when we moved next door to my parents, my mom was like having a covert relationship with my husband because she would be like, Peter, it's Pam. Bob's going to the VA at 2:00. Can you come over here and change these light bulbs? I don't need him going on a ladder and falling off and da-da-da. And then I just remember one time my dad goes, one time I heard my dad like in the background, we don't need fucking Peter here to fix it. And I'm like, yeah, we do. Like, what are you doing, Dad? Like, stop with the ego. Like
my mom does that with my husband. My dad knows because he's a Jew. Like Jews aren't known for fixing things.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so my sister married a Jew, Michael Goldstein, nicest, best husband ever. And I do say that right in front of Peter.
There's a lot of sweet Jewish husbands that just not known for fixing, but they're
my mom always said that too. She would say Jewish husbands, they give the best gifts to their wives. She was so jealous of her friends that was married to Jewish guys. And it's true. My sister always has like a beautiful Todd's new handbag or Bottega, or like he goes to like a real jewelry store.
Yeah, my dad was not like that, but I think there are like the higher end Jewish people. We were like we were a little jacked up, our family. Yeah. Like we had a car, none of the doors worked on the car because my mom, whenever she would go to the mechanic, she would come back and she'd be like, Salvatore has an autistic son. And so I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with our car? And my mom would just basically spend all our whole college funds at the mechanic, and we would just have the same busted, jacked up car. None of the doors worked. The only door that even would open was the back door, but there was no springs on it. It would just fall and slam shut. So I was dropped off. This should make a lot of sense of why I'm a comedian and one of the many things that went awry in my life. My dad would drop me off at like high school in the way they called the Feinstein barfmobile because it smelled like puke because my brother puked in it so much in vacations, which were to the fucking Liz Claiborne outlet because my mom needed to get, new pumps or whatever. So he would put a broomstick up. That's how he would hold it up, and then we'd all have to climb up because there was no springs out the back door of the car and come back in. Yeah, so
my dad just used a lot of masking tape and like a free weight, like one of those big round weights that you would put on like a like that.
Yeah.
So there'd always be like, let's put this weight over here with some masking tape. And somehow, I don't know.
Give me an example of one of the things he would use. A free weight is so funny.
I don't even know. I just remember, like, I can literally see
the free weight
and like and him being like, just hold this here, and I was just like helping with it. And then when I could drive, I was so bad at going and getting what was asked of me from Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware was the store.
I hate those stories.
I always wondered if the guy that owned the Ace Hardware near our house was like a trust fund multimillionaire, because there would be so many people working there. And I was like, how does this place survive? Like, there are so many people helping. But even with all the people helping, I would still go and then come home. My dad would be like, that's the wrong thing. And I have to go back to Ace Hardware. I'm like, this is the wrong, it's a 1.5, da-da-da-da, not a 1 1/4 quarter. What?
That's like a biblical pilgrimage to have to go back.
To go back to Ace Hardware.
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
Oh, God, Heather.
I mean, it was
you don't deserve that. Look at you. You're a fucking flower. You don't deserve to have to make multiple trips to fucking, that's crossing a fucking desert in biblical times.
It was horrible.
You don't belong there. Look at you.
No, I don't. And
Fucking sweet Daisy.
So I absolutely hate it. And now, like, sometimes my husband will wake up like early in the morning and just decide like shit needs to be put away and cleaned up.
That's my whole fucking mood. Oh my God, that's my whole life. He gets up in this fucking real fucking manic, hypomanic fucking state. And he's just like, yeah, we gotta start getting shit squared away. I'm like, get the fuck out of my room. Like, I just came home from fucking Orlando. Like, I need a fucking break. I did 5 shows and my husband just gets up, just got to start cracking away. When I left, that's what he was doing. That's why I was telling you. He's like, yeah, we got to, you know what we need? We need a gondola. And he says it in the dumbest way, where I'm like, maybe we do, but whatever you're going to invent.
A gondola like a boat?
Like, no, not a gondola. Sorry. I'm so dumb. What's the other one that, no, I'm asking the man in the room. This is so stupid.
What?
I get it mixed up with the...
I'm imagining your house in New York with like an Italian gondola.
What's an over? God, I'm stupid.
Oh, I know you. A gazebo.
Not a gazebo. It goes off the back of your house, and it's like a piece of something that you go in the shade and you relax under it. It's a
gazebo.
Maybe it's a gazebo, but there's another word.
No, but I know what you mean. A veranda.
Veranda kind of thing. Okay, but whatever the word is, my husband sounded even dumber than I sound right now saying it somehow. He was like, oh, we need a fucking veranda. And I'm like, no, we don't, because you're going to bring 4 firemen over here, and they're going to just paint fucking Jordan Peterson blowing the Founding Fathers on top of this veranda. Like, just give me a beat and let me find something nice. So he just wants to explode everything and build everything. And then he would just make things heinous. He would just paint like a giant, our house would look like a commemorative coin shop if he and the firemen designed it. And I'm like, I need 5 minutes so that it's not heinous, but he just gets up and it's like, he wants to just fucking get cracking away. And I can't relate. He likes to put together furniture and stuff. I'm like,
you guys know I've been talking about Nutrafol for a while. I really feel it's such a great supplement. It's an easy little pill I take every day, and it has really changed the way my hair has looked and felt. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And you can feel great about what you're putting into your body, since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in third-party certification and supplements. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our Juicy Scoopers $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code JuicyScoop. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Juicy Scoop. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Juicy Scoop. This episode of Juicy Scoop is brought to you by Booking.com, Booking.yeah. From vacation rentals to hotels across the U.S., Booking.com has the ideal stay for anyone, even those who seem impossible to please. So whether you're doing a big family vacation, a romantic rendezvous, and you know your husband's really particular, or maybe you're very particular and you just want it to be right, the food's got to be good, or there has to be a small kitchenette because your man or woman wants the coffee in the morning done a certain way, whatever the case, you can find it there. I absolutely love it. We are looking at Booking.com right now because we are planning to go to a very nice wedding in Florida after Christmas, between that Christmas and New Year's Eve time. And I want it to be just right. It has to be close enough to the venue, but we also have some downtime where we want to enjoy a beautiful pool near the beach as well. And Booking.com, Booking.yeah has that. So if our family can find that perfect stay on Booking.com, anyone can. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Book today on the site or in the app. I'm like, you don't realize, maybe I left like a purse or a pump downstairs or a shoe or whatever. I'm like, but everywhere I walk is like a RHOC screwdriver, a screwdriver that's electric. Yeah. There's always like just one glove like on the patio table.
Looks like somebody just freshly murdered somebody in the house.
Like, it's just like, I'm like, I could just walk around with like a basket, like a giant shoes, like just, I'm like, and so I'm like, so now since you like freaking woke up at 4:30 a.m., for
Yeah.
some weird reason. Now we all have to suffer.
Every time my husband gets in this mood, I'm just like, were you molested? I say that to him with everything because when he starts fucking hammering me with his OCD shit, I'm like, who hurt you? Was it a priest or a family friend? I'm not doing this with you right now. I need 2 fucking more hours. I had a late show last night. You know?
I mean, I know it just does not
I had to
work
perform
out.
for
I
drunk
know.
twats.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes he'll start and I'm like, what's good is I got to a place where I just would go, I can't talk about this because in an hour and a half, I have to record.
Yes.
I have to record. I have to be a funny delight. And you're stressing me out and you're like, I don't want to talk about curtains or whatever right now, you know?
Yeah.
And so we always say that, but I will say with my sons, so I think it's great that he puts them to work. What's the point of having a 6'5" and a 6'3" human that came out of your crotch if they can't do shit for you?
I'm in it. Yes.
So it's like, I'm all for like ordering them around. However, they still are my babies. And I
Sure.
do feel like sometimes, so the thing that makes my husband go crazy is hands in your pockets. Get your hands out of your pockets. So he'll be explaining something of what he wants them to do. And they just inadvertently have put their hands in their pockets. And he's like, why are you putting your hands in your pockets? Why are you putting your hands? And I'm like, oh my God. So then one time Drake was like, I'm like, what are you doing, Drake? And he goes, oh, I'm just looking for pants that don't have pockets. I don't want to trigger dad next time we're working. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so hilarious.
Did you
like,
tell your husband that? Did
yes,
he
and
feel
I'm like,
bad?
I'm
after?
always like, I go, hey, dad wants to do some construction. So can you guys just wear my Lululemon leggings? They don't have hands and they don't have pockets you can put on because I don't want you to inadvertently put your hand in your pocket while he's explaining what you have to like move in the yard. Like, God, like they're not fucking on their phone while you're talking. They just put their hand in their pocket.
Yeah, I never knew that even fell under the umbrella of impolite anything. Yeah, I've never heard of this. You can't have hands in your pockets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were like, if you had your phone, if you were on Pornhub or something, maybe. But yeah, your hands in your pockets. I didn't even know that was like a polite, like a sin in polite school. I can't think of any words today. I'm just wordless.
Oh my God. But I do love your story about how you say your daughter, though she's only 5, because I love talking about the differences between my friends who raise girls or raising girls and the boys.
Oh,
And
it's not even on the
especially-
same
And
planet.
especially when they get older. I mean, at all stages, I have, bits in my stuff in my stand-up when I noticed the differences of when they were younger. And now, of course, it's a whole different thing as they are adults. And the biggest thing is the communication between a girl mom who's got a girl in high school or college versus us raising boys. And if anybody was to read the text exchange between myself and my sons, you would say, Heather, this guy is not that into you. Like, when are you going to get the hint that he, like, it's literally like all these things, I love you. And then it's just like a K or nothing. And I'm like, if it was anybody other than a man that I have birthed, I'd be like,
fuck you.
Fuck
Yeah,
this
beat
dude.
it.
Like, what do you want from me? Like, anybody would tell you, blow off this guy. He does not care about you. The opposite with the girls is that the amount of times that a girl mom's daughter has like ruined a sorority weekend with like my adult friends, like where the teenager is calling all the time. And the girl
And what is she like, crying, drama?
There's
What
just
is
always something. There's just been always something. One time my friend finally did realize that she said to her daughter, she goes, Carlin, I'm with Heather right now. And she just reminded me, this is the 4th girls trip that you have like
derailed?
Like it was like one time it was a boyfriend breakup. One time it was like they got caught drinking on the boat. Another time it was like something went wrong at the house. Another time it was like something with her ex-husband. Like, I don't know, but it was always related. And the girl is like such a delight and they have such a great relationship.
Sure,
and all
but
that stuff.
sure, I've heard it from everybody.
Yeah,
I'm like
but
waiting because I'm like, I have a 5-year-old and I've heard all the warnings. I mean, at this stage, I understand it way better. So at this stage, it's like more fun for me. But I dropped her. But I have all the warnings about when she's a teenager, and I'm fucking terrified. But I took her to class. I took her to her nursery school, and I'm sure I'll get shit for saying this, but the girls were playing these very complicated somewhat manipulative games and like they had costumes on. The boys were just slamming into each other, and I thought it was a special class. I was like, "Is this what are those? Why are they here?" Like they were just slamming into each other. That was the whole game. That was just they slam onto each other and then they stop slamming their bodies against each other. They were like deep emergency morons, in my humble opinion. Okay, so I was like, my friend was explaining to me. She's like, "No, that's just the way they are," because she has like 3 little boys, and they came to stay with me. I was like, oh, bring the whole family over. They were punching each other in the face and stuff. I was like, what's going on? You know, my daughter, it's just a lot of like, she's judging me. She like knows, she has a lot of opinions about everything. She also gives me tips that I feel like she shouldn't know about my own life, which almost hurts more than the judgment.
Like what?
Like the other day, she was like, she was just watching me try to get out the door. Like whenever I have to go somewhere, she watches me get ready, and I could just see she's just kind of like taking it all apart, my systems. And I have no systems. Okay, so when you watch me, it's just a joke. She goes, "Mommy, I think your problem is that you have too many bags." And I was like, fuck, she's right. Like she should not know this. She's just like, yeah, you keep starting things, and then there's too many bags started, so you don't know where things are. And then she just goes, ugh. Like, yeah, and then she just kind of walks out. Like, I'm never going to get through to her. I joke about this on stage, but it's true. She sighs a lot. And I'm like, you have to earn a sigh in life. Like, you could sigh like that when you're going through, like, a toxic divorce or something. Yeah. Like, she just gets up. She's 5. What problems does she have? And she's like, oh, God. Like, she fell off the bed once, and she still talks about it like it was an old drinking story. She's like, oh, that was crazy that night when I fell off the bed. Like, I don't remember anything after Good Night Moon. Like, she acts like she's lived this kind of long, sort of boozy, long-suffering life. And I'm like, you have no issues. I just serve you food that you reject because it's served on the wrong color plate.
Right.
But that's what it feels like for me, personally, because I'm sure I'll get shit for saying this. For my daughter is just like, I feel like I live with this kind of older woman that dissects a lot of what I do all day. Yeah. And she's hilarious, but like, and she doesn't mess my shit up really, but she's just way more aware that I was not prepared for this. Like she is thinking about all of it, everything.
Yeah. And that's what I think is just so like really interesting when you do start to raise a child, and it's like you understand whether they're girls or boys or whatever, you so much like makes sense. Like you do learn a lot as a parent about just society in general as you're like raising someone, and you're like, oh my God, why did I like stress about that, you know? And then you try to like tell your kid like this shit doesn't matter, high school doesn't matter, like, you know, just that's like the whole other thing of just like
I really struggle to teach her lesson. Like because I come up with these perfect monologues, and I'm so proud of myself, like just how gently I handled something. But I feel like she doesn't listen to any of that. She kind of dismisses that. She just does what she sees anyway. So that's something I feel like I struggle with, like as you know, as a parent, is that I try to like I'll try to solve something and give her this lovely monologue, but she's just already made her mind up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So now with your firefighter husband, last time you were on, we kind of like talked about like how you guys fell in love and everything. And, but I want to know more because I'm going to ask kind of like the uncomfortable question, which is, of course, he, you know, doesn't cheat. But what do you think about how firefighters have such a bad reputation of being philanderers?
I mean, half of my act is just like mocking firemen. So, I mean, it's not like, I feel like the reason now.
They say firemen, police.
Yeah, I feel like half of my crowd is now like first responder families and like firefighter families, and I feel like I give them a lot of like I just mock the guys all the time, but I feel like they don't care. They're a lot like comedians, you know. So yes, a lot of whatever, like they're not. Look, I mean, I say this exact line in my special. I say, imagine if your husband was spending the night with 12 dumbest friends for half your marriage. Like, you think it's good? You think they come back, you know, with better ideas? No, my husband goes for like one 24-hour shift, and I'll come home and I'll be like, Vinny says, you know, the earth's not necessarily round or whatever. He made some, you know, he did his research on it. So yeah, no, I'm not here to like spread the news that they're just the wisest bunch of them. They're what you would expect if a bunch of guys are spending the night with each other. You know what I'm saying? However, that what does work in my marriage is that they're like comedians, because they, you know, they go spend the night at this house for half the week. They can't work on holidays all the time. They say unspeakable things to each other because they sit around at a table, you know? And so he doesn't every guy that I've been with has thought it was fun that I do this until I'm really doing it and they're really with me. And it's, I'm missing things and I'm missing weddings and I'm missing stuff, And he's the first guy that doesn't give a shit. He's almost like an accidental feminist. And make sure that my husband
Wait,
probably
I just want to
thinks
say that's a great Instagram name if someone hasn't taken it.
accidental feminist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my husband probably thinks feminists are like Nazis, but I'm sure he does. He's probably like, oh, I heard that lady's a feminist down the road. Like, he probably thinks they're fucking Nazis. But he almost is, because he doesn't care what I do. Like, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he loves his life as a fireman. Like, they all got plenty of issues because of what they see on the job.
Right.
And I relate very much and have learned so much from a lot of mostly women, some men that come to my shows that are married to, and they explain things to me, even things that are happening in my own home. Like, I'll joke about him being like extreme OCD and these kind of drills he does with me in the mornings. And they're like, that's because he does that at the firehouse. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so yeah, they explain things to me.
My dad was the fire chief in Long Beach, Long Island, New York. Mm-hmm. And he said his earliest memory, his earliest memory was him being with his dad and the friends, and they were giving him alcohol, and he was like a toddler. And every time he'd fall, they would like laugh and like give him more.
Wait,
and they're like, bring Bobby over or whatever. And I was like, and my dad was like telling us about it. My mom's like, that's absolutely horrible. Like, you're like a baby, And he's just like, no, it was fun. They liked it when I like came by. And I'm like, wait, what?
Well, it's almost like, okay, being in the fire department is a lot like, I'm sure I'm going to start getting shit for some of the shit I say, but the firemen don't generally care. But now that he's chief, I should probably watch my mouth.
Oh, he's a fire chief now?
Now he's a chief.
That's sexy.
It is kind of. But then he pisses me off that I'm like, oh, that uniform is kind of cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people salute him. And I'm into all that shit. Yeah. I like a uniform. I like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I come by the firehouse, they treat me better than he treats me. It's because it's like the chief's fucking wife, So I'm property of the fire department now. So they like make me whatever snacks I want. That's the other problem with having a girl is that when she comes to the fire, or the challenge for me is because she talks to every man now because she grew up in a firehouse, and I have to teach her men are bad. Like, I can't get it through to her. Yeah. I'm like, no, don't talk to them all. You should be suspicious. No, she talks to every guy because she thinks that because she goes by the firehouse, they give her anything she wants, She just sits back in her she sits like where they call things in the radio, and she sits in this little kind of booth, and they play for her. They have like Moana 2 on. She's like, no, I said 1 next to. Like, she orders them around, and they just like bring her sweets all day. So she thinks that's men in general, because they do that because her daddy's the chief.
Yeah, how would you know?
So then when we go into like an Uber or something, she'd be like, hi, can you put this on for me? Put the Disney soundtrack. And she talks to them like they're just going to give her everything she wants. And that's the opposite you want your kid to think. I'm like, no, strangers are bad. She's like, not the guys at the firehouse. Yeah. They put on my movies and my playlists for me, actually. So I'm trying to really I'm trying to get some seed of doubt into her that men are not great. She needs to be suspicious of them at this age. You know? Yeah. Like my dad used to take me to Orioles games, and I saw that men would piss in that circular fucking trough. After that, that's all it took. I was like, I don't trust any of you. That you're cool with this, just pissing in some circular fucking
disgusting
ice bath. You are all pigs. After that, I wouldn't look at him for a long time after that. I wonder if he did it on purpose. Do you know what I'm talking about? That little circular bath? Yeah.
Wait, where is the bath? What do you mean? In the bathroom?
There's like a trough in some places, and they like not just
like
separate
outside?
Urinals, but he had to take me in the men's bathroom because I guess my mom wasn't there. So it was like a big circular tub.
Yeah.
It was a piss tub, and they would all stand around it and piss like towards each other in a
different
stream.
than the trough, the pee trough thing.
Yes, because it was circular, which I found more foul. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I saw that, and I was like, so you guys are cool with this? You're all disgusted. And that did it for me. But I have to do something to sort of teach my daughter that.
I remember my dad would try to like explain, because he just loved talking, and he would like try to explain like what's going on, like with whatever, some sports team or some manager. And my sister and I would be so bored and be like, you know what? Because like we weren't paying attention. And he'd be like, you know what? Some guy is going to be really turned off by the fact that you're not interested in this. And I was like, okay, guess what? It wasn't a problem.
That you weren't interested in sports?
Yeah,
That's
like
hilarious.
not a problem, like not an issue. Do you imagine if like women were like pissed off that their husband like didn't know who, you know, Dorinda Medley was from Real Housewives of New York? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How can you not know one of the forefathers of Bravo TV? Like, they would be like, okay.
Yeah, because if you know that, you don't want to be inside us. That's what I think. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm
yeah.
like, no, guys don't really care.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't care. I completely agree with that. But your dad, did you go by the firehouse a lot as a kid?
No, it was my grandpa.
Or your grandfather? Did
no,
he
so
bring
my
you to the
dad
firehouse?
so my dad wasn't part of it.
Right.
Just the grandpa was. The grandpa was like dead before I was born.
Oh, okay.
And no, but I think it's really cool, and like I love like the old fashioned photo that you know, which they had. It was so long ago because my dad is passed and he had me at 45, so like this is a really long time ago. But I think it's I think it's, you know, obviously so cool and great, and I always just like wonder about, you know, like, you know, it's, if you want to find a guy, I think it's a really easy thing to do if you have like a child or something, and then you're like, oh, I just want to bring my son over to see the big fire trucks.
I always think about that. Yeah, like it's such an easy way to do it. Also, people take their kids I'm just out there trying to, you know, think about other sort of, because I did a lot of my life was just spent trying to find a guy. So taking hot tips, going to steakhouses, because I heard men hang out at steakhouses, that kind of shit. You too? I was always looking, because I had to look in a really concentrated way, because then it was like work, look for a man. Yeah.
Oh, wait, finish your story, because then I have a
No, I want to know what you did. I don't have.
Okay, I've like mentioned this on the show before, but it's making a comeback because there's a really funny like Instagram or TikTok or something where they have found, I guess they're real VHS tapes of video dating from like.
Oh wait, I saw these. They're amazing.
They're so funny.
They're
okay,
hilarious.
so
I love these.
oh my God. Okay, so I did real estate, right? And I was doing real estate with my parents, and I had some money, okay? And I did two things with that money to find a husband.
What are they?
The first was $1,100. This is so long ago. This is like 28 years ago. $1,100 to join Sports Club LA, which was the most fabulous, exciting workout, rich person thing in the heart of like.
Is it still open?
Probably not. It's probably been bought by somebody else. But this guy that I went to college with told me, Heather, if you're looking for a rich, like executive type guy that's like in the industry, you have to join Sports Club LA. So I did. I remember I didn't even know how to write $1,100. Like I'd never written a check that much in my life to join that. And it had valet parking, and it had a pool up there. And I would go there like at the end of the day and sometimes get dinner. And like it had a restaurant with like wine.
Did you meet people? Because my thing was I'd go there, but then I get too
Michael
shy
Bay
when I was
there all the time.
Really?
The director.
Oh my God.
And like, you know, and I would just go and like do my thing and hope that someone didn't come up to me and say I was doing it wrong, you know, because I didn't know what I was doing. And
or that they did.
I did. I went on a date with I went out with the doctor. I did go on some dates. I met like a handful of guys that I dated from there, but nobody was good. So then the next thing I did after that was literally, it was on Sepulveda, on the other side of Sepulveda, right around like, let me think, Santa Monica Boulevard in between, okay? So this is kind of like around like Westwood, UCLA, like on your way to Century City area for people that don't know. Anyway, was a place called Great Expectations.
Yeah.
And that was like $2,500 to join.
Oh, wait, was it gym called Great Expectations?
No, this is the dating service. This is where you do the VHS tapes.
Oh.
And I was 25 when I joined, and it was my 25th birthday.
Did you find the tape?
I don't know where my tape is. No.
Great Expectations.
I mean, if somebody has it.
I want to see your tape. We got to find it. I bet you we could find it.
So anyway, I remember my dad and mom took me out to birthday, and I remember exactly what I wore. It was my 25th birthday. We went to Joffrey's by the Sea, because my birthday's June 14th. Joffrey's like right in Malibu. And I said, I joined this thing because I'm like, I don't want to like wake up at 30 and not be married. I want to have kids, and I want to get married, and I want to find like a quality person that's like I knew I wasn't going to find them at the Groundlings or at the Improv.
Yeah.
Because none of those guys were good.
No, nothing grosses me out more than a man with like a headshot. Like I remember. So then I was going to try to go for like the executive. Like I really did want to find like an industry Jewish guy that like was like, oh, look at my funny shiksa, and like let's get her a sitcom. That was my initial goal. I met a guy at a party who was a William Morris agent, and I went up and gave him my VHS tape of like my one woman show, and we like ended up making out in his office, and then he never sent me out on anything, and I was like, can I get my VHS tape back? Like it was like awful. Yeah. So I was always thinking like that would work for me. There was this guy named Joel Gallen. He was a big, I think that's his name. He produced like... Joel is such a smear of a name.
Anyway, he produced... And I'm not going to say anything bad about him, so I'm going to use the name because there's nothing bad about the story, about him. It's just kind of embarrassing. Anyway, he was like producing Jenny McCarthy's like sketch comedy show, and he was doing like a lot of like... I think he does a lot of stand-up specials and stuff. And Jennifer Coolidge was my friend at the time.
She's so funny.
And I was like always like looking for like a traditional guy. Like I was like the traditional Catholic girl at the Groundlings that just like wanted to like have a normal life, you know, and then somebody just canned me a sitcom, you know. Anyway, and so she calls me and she's like, hey, Heather, I was trying to this guy. I think he'd be a really good match for you. And, you know, so she sets up the date. So I meet him at the dinner. And right off the bat, he was like, I could tell he was disappointed. Because he was like, now this is before you can chook it. This is what I have to remind young people. This is before you could just look up someone's Instagram, you know, Google, whatever. She just had to say, there's this girl, she's really funny, I think you'd like her. And she's pretty, whatever. That's what she probably said. So I meet him for dinner, and he does recognize me from probably a showcase or something.
Maybe that's why he was disappointed.
He was disappointed
in your looks.
I don't know.
He was probably he was probably doing some math in his head, like she's hot, but she's in the industry, and I'm worried about that.
Yes. So maybe I don't know, but right away he's like, "Oh, I think I've met you or I've seen your stuff or something," and I was like, "Oh." So we sit down, and like I could tell, like he's not interested. Though I would have gone on another date with him because I was like, you know, I wasn't someone to like just immediately be like, no way, if I thought they were like kind of normal. And then I remember like we start talking about the industry, and I'm like giving ideas and whatever I think is funny or good or whatever. And then he goes, well, who are some funny male writers that you know? Like, who are some funny writers? I need to hire some funny writers. And I'm like, I'm a writer.
He asked you for fucking, mother.
I'm like, I'm a writer. But instead of saying that, I was like, oh. And then I just start like listing off guys that I think are funny and all that. So then I just remember coming back to my apartment in Santa Monica and Jennifer leaving me a message, like on my answer machine, that she was like, hey, I talked to Joel, and you know, and it was so basically it was like a letdown. And I remember I called her, and I'm like, your call was like every like letdown from an agent. Like, they're going to go in a different direction.
They love your energy, but they just want to go in a different direction.
Yeah,
sweetheart.
he thinks you're great. Yeah. He thinks that you're talented. You know, it wasn't a match.
Christ.
This wasn't your job to get like anything that you could say. But yeah, so I did this video.
Yeah.
And they asked me things, and now listen, I don't think I was not like, I still have things wrong with my face. And so I was not like a fucking perfect, like Julia Roberts looking person. But I guess just because I was like kind of younger, it was besieged with people wanting to meet me. I mean, hundreds. I went in, you're supposed to go in. It's like a library. You're supposed to go in and say, oh, hey, I just want to see, like, is anyone interested in me? And then you can like look at their photo. And then if you're interested, you can go in this room and they'll give you their tapes, and you just go through their tapes and you're like, okay, I would like to meet them or not. There were so many. I was like, I don't even know where to begin. Like this
sounds exhausting.
It was exhausting. So then I go, can you just like direct me to, like, do you know who these people are? I said to the girl, I'm like, can you just give me like 5 people like worth dating?
Yeah.
So basically I did. And then if I would get these people that they would want to go out with me, and I could ignore it or I could give them a reason. And so sometimes I would say, so now at this point, there were so many people to choose from. I was like, okay, let me just find someone Catholic or Christian because I'm not going to like convert, whatever. So then that eliminated some people. But one time there was this person who didn't go to college. And I just was like, educate. I just clicked like education. And then they could write like a horrible or nice letter to you, like pleading their case. And then it would get mailed to you. And not like they didn't know where the guy didn't know your address, but then the company would like mail you.
Yeah, because the guy would come make a suit
letter.
out of your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't let the guy know your address. That'd
So
be
I
really
remember
bad.
like I opened the letter and it was just like this super mean, like now I get them every day, you know, being in this business, but this is before like
I will say,
Instagram
they
and
always
comments.
say like girls can't let go or girls are needy. Every time I go on a Bumble date and I wasn't into the guy, I just like wouldn't call him again. But the guys, if the guy blew me off, I would get it right away and that would be it. I would accept. I think we're more prepped as women to just accept like a stream of rejection.
Yeah.
But I would just not. I wouldn't even think. I would get hurt, but I would never think to contact him. But when I would go out with a guy, I didn't call him again, I get these long, fucking furious, just like taking down my entire character. And I'm like, well, I'm
Yes.
sorry, Bert, but you didn't pay for any of my drinks, and you complained about your ex-wife Diane the whole time, and it wasn't exactly a fucking walk in the park. I'm sorry. Doesn't mean that I'm some sort of heightened cunt because I don't want to go out with you twice where you swing your legs. He was swinging his legs in the chair and fucking
Were
just
they
complaining
little
about
legs?
Diane. He had little silly foolish legs, yes. And he just kept complaining about Diane. He's like, the thing about Diane, he was fucking just really revved up. And then he was like, fear. And it's like, at the end of the date, I'm not going to look into your eyes and be like, I don't want to go out with you anymore. I'm just going to be like, that was great. If they say, let's do it again, I'm like, sure. I don't feel like you need to do that when you're out on the date with somebody.
Well,
if you're in a long relationship, then you owe somebody an explanation.
Yeah.
Other than that, just don't call me. That's it. We went on one date. Whatever.
I mean, I do think that's what's great about texting and all that stuff is that you can just, because so then I got this letter and it really did like kind of, it just turned, that was it. I never went back to the place. It was just like this, first of all, it wasn't like working out and it was too much work.
Yeah,
the
it sounds
guys weren't
exhausting.
good. I remember I went out with a Mormon guy that was cute and I didn't really understand what Mormon was. I thought it was like Protestant, like an another offshoot of Catholicism. You just didn't believe in Mary and like priests
Right.
could get married. I didn't really understand. And I just remember he said, no, I give 10% of everything I make to the church automatically. That's part of it. So that was
one
it
last
for me.
fucking Todd's
That
handbag
was it
for
for
you.
me.
Yeah.
I was like not interested in
No,
that.
no.
And then there was, but this guy, the guy that wrote the letter, I just remember it was like this, like reading it on this thing. It was like a card that you could do and like send. And it was just like, you know, I find that people that go to college are some of the most meanest people, like, you know, the grammar and everything. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is just too much. This is like not even fun. It's too much work. This other guy was an anesthesiologist who was like 38 and tall. And I was like, okay. Like, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this could be good. Is this too good to be true? Yes, it was.
It
He
always
was a
is.
fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Of course, a 38-year-old tall guy with dark hair when I'm like 27, who's an anesthesiologist and lives in Manhattan Beach in a nice house that he owns and is not married. Yeah, there is something weird.
Yeah, there usually is.
There
Yeah,
was.
when they're that. And I feel like I always knew, well, I attracted pretty crazy guys, but I also feel like the ones that I got, I'd be like, I started to lower my expectations. I would have a friend come over and we would do it together. Like when we would go online, we used to call it Family Tinder. But I just like to have a friend that go through the pictures with and go through it.
Yeah.
And my friend found this guy and she was like, he's not exactly a veterinarian. I'm like, well, what does he do? And she's like, well, I guess he works for like, I don't remember the name of the place, but it was called like Paws of Freedom or something. And basically it was like euthanasia for cats. And I was like, wait, so he's a cat assassin? And so I was like, that's weird. If you only kill cats, if you're a veterinarian, lovely. But if your job is just, and so my friend, I don't know if you have a friend like this, she was like a master researcher. Like every guy I'd go out with, I mean, I'm not making this up, Heather. I went out with this one guy. She was like, okay, I talked to his boss and I'm like, wait, this is my first date with him. How did you find his boss? She's like, he broke up. His last marriage was with a Hasidic woman and he just wasn't as religious with her as her. That was the problem. Like she found his fucking boss. She has 3 kids, by the way. She's a public defender herself. She's a lawyer. And this is what she's doing. Within 24 hours, she's like, I got it. Talk to his boss. Like it was a direct order. I'm like, I didn't ask you to do this, bitch. But she's, the best friend in the world that she did this for me. But so my friend was like, okay, so she went and she found all of the reviews of his cat assassinations. And so I guess he would just stop by your house to kill your cat for you. They called it like putting down or whatever. But I'm sorry, you're a fucking cat assassin. If you're a veterinarian, you put him down. If you have a door-to-door service where somebody could not be able to order their cat dying like Uber Eats or some shit. And so one of the fucking comments was that they felt like he was very gentle inside, but they worried that it wasn't great because it made her feel a little uncomfortable as she was saying goodbye to Mittens or whatever the fuck her cat's name was. Because she said the guy was on the lawn with the syringe out. And she was like, he shouldn't have had his syringe out as he was crossing your lawn. It's like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, because you were just one of many fucking deliveries.
Like, how quick does it have to be? Like, you couldn't have just brought it in like an old medical bag, like an old-fashioned like house call medical bag. Like, that is crazy.
He had the needle cocked and holding it casually as he was crossing the lawn. And my friend almost went out with this guy. And I was like, that's insane. You can't, because he was probably one of 3 assassins appointments he had that day.
Cat assassin.
I'm like, no, that's not something that should be done where somebody stops by your place. No, that has to be done after a lot of, thought and prayer. And it has to be done at the fucking doctor's office. Yeah, cocked and fucking ready on the lawn. And then he had the fucking nerve to knock on the door and be like, let's talk about what your cat meant to you. You don't give a shit. You're here to kill cats as briskly as possible.
Now, you obviously talk a lot about your husband and your family and your act, and it appears that your husband does not care. Has he ever said, I don't like that bit, or, well, you really kind of got that wrong, or?
Honestly, the only thing that he got really jealous of or upset was because I had a joke about that I dated this cop before him, this FBI agent, and there's a little bit of rivalry.
Why do firemen and cops hate each other? They don't hate each other, but why do they, It's so funny, and they like to say the same thing. They're
very similar.
I know, and they always like to say like that. Well, I think it's almost like the same thing that like my dad would say back when he was in the military, like during the war. He would say that the Air Force, they would be like, "Oh, the Air Force, steak and ice cream every night." He was a Marine. Like they think that they have it easy. So I think there's
a lot of that in my comment section because I'll be like first responder. They'll be like, first responder, my ass. We're the one who secure the scenes and they do this and that. I don't even understand what they're talking about. I'm like, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but there's a lot of arguments about who secures the scene. It all sounds exhausting to me personally. Yeah. I'm like, it all seems kind of annoying to have to get out of bed.
So because you talked about dating a cop, that's so funny.
I know, and now I'm talking about it again because I'm such a dick. But yeah. He'll get a little bit weird. He'll bump on that a little bit. But the most insane things he doesn't care about at all. We were hooking up once and he lasted it was pretty quick. It was maybe 3-4 minutes tops. And he was like, I was like, come on, Pete. And he's like, that was awful, right? And he was like, he thought it was hilarious. He's like, yeah, I really kind of phoned that one in. He's like, you could put that in your skit though. He's like, yeah, you could put it in your talent show though. And I'm just laying there throbbing with loneliness. And he's just like, hey, high five, good sesh or whatever. And he's like, yeah, donation to the old skit box. Yeah, he didn't care. He doesn't care.
The old skit box.
I mean, yeah, he didn't care at all. So I don't know. The things he cares about are surprising, but it's very few and far between that he cares. And I do think that is one of the fun things about him is that what he's thinking about most of the time is fire. He preferred to be inside a flame than a woman. He cares about fire. He doesn't care about the nonsense I'm peddling on stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, my special was was me trying to get my husband to make eye contact with me because I made this entire hour almost about his job. This is more sad that I'm realizing it. It's not like a fun-loving thing, but yeah. And it's like, because then all the top brass of the fire department were at the taping. So it was my way of being like, see, me, that, you know what I mean? Like, pay attention. Because, yeah, I don't think he cares. Not about much.
I think it's a very interesting life. I would like to I would love to have like a roundtable discussion with female comedians who are currently still married to their husband, which there aren't a lot of us, and and have the husbands all talk about it.
That would be fascinating. Because
like I've asked
he
Leanne
doesn't
too.
like when I talk about him to other people, but I think for some reason he thinks like the stage is different. You know, like he doesn't like when I talk to his family or like I back up my point and I'm like, yeah, but your brother said that, like that will piss him the fuck off. Yeah.
Right.
Which is fair, but that'll make him angry if I'm like using it to anchor an argument.
Right.
But if I'm just doing my little skits on stage about some nonsense.
I've complained about my husband to his mother.
Sometimes
and she is,
they understand.
She's the greatest mother-in-law on earth.
Yeah.
I try not to do it because as my sons got older, I thought, how am I going to feel about like Drake's wife calling me when I'm 83 and bitching about him as if I fucked up somehow by raising your husband. And then I realized, I'm sorry, I've had the husband longer than she had him under the roof. So anything he does wrong it is my fault. I raised him longer than her. She should be like, what did you do to I handed over a perfectly nice guy at 33.
Yeah, I mean,
why did you make him such a dick? Why did you make him such an asshole?
No, I'm dead wrong for doing that when I've done that. But my husband is really not. He doesn't communicate fucking anything fucking ever. And sometimes it makes me crazy. So I have to like make some sort of quilt out of what's actually going on because he won't fucking tell me. His father, I've heard his father give him this advice. He's like, you know, what do you say? He's like, do what you want, apologize later. I'm like, no, that's not good advice. Come on, what the fuck? So that's my husband. That's our whole marriage. I don't know what's going on. So like when I first met his family, you know, I'm thinking he came with me on the road. He came with me to different crazy situations and shows. I'm thinking they've heard all about me. No, they hadn't heard anything about me. He brought me for Christmas. I brought 40 presents because first of all, like I'm kind of obsessed with Catholic guys. I've only dated Catholic guys. I just love all the ceremony of it. I love fucking Catholicism.
I love
joke
that.
about it on stage. I like a Catholic. It's like hot and sorry. Yeah, but I'm so into Catholics. Okay. I tried to steal my friend's communion dress when I was a little girl. Is that what's it called for communion?
Oh my God, because it was like a little white dress. I pretended it was my wedding day when I wore that white dress.
It's so beautiful, that dress. Yeah, I was so jealous. So I was going to his house and I was doing Christmas. Jewish girls are fucking jealous of Christmas.
Okay.
So we go all out. Like I'm the one in the family that's way more of a bigger deal for me than my husband with my daughter.
Right.
So I brought like 40 presents. We get there. They all looked furious. And I thought it was because I was bringing the wrong things.
Yeah.
Or because he was bringing Jewish. I didn't know. It was because he didn't tell them he was bringing me at all. Until 5 minutes before he got to the house, he was like, bringing a girl. And they were like, Jesus Christ, Pete, what the fuck? We have nothing for her. So I didn't understand all this till later. So I was like interviewing her family, like, what was it with Chris? Like, what happened that night? And then they explained to me, Pete didn't tell us until 5 minutes before you got here. So I'm thinking, like, he's met like some celebrities, you know, like he's gone to all these different places with me. They know he's dating a comedian. Like, this guy's barely been outside the archdiocese of fucking Brooklyn. Of course they fucking know about me. They didn't know anything, you know? So they were completely confused and enraged. So that's what it feels like being married to him. It's like nobody knows what's going on, like, because he doesn't tell anybody anything. You know, my mother-in-law's intense. He had a very and she's a very like, oh, my son, like, you know,
right.
She would have preferred to marry him. You know, it didn't work out for her. But
I think it's the same thing. Like, it was like, I thought like this must be so interesting to people for you to say that you're like dating a comedian or whatever.
He didn't give a shit.
No, it was the same thing. And then I just remember like years, just not even that long. I've been married 25 years. So like just a couple years ago, my sister-in-law was like, oh, I remember like him saying, oh, this girl is just so fun. I'm just going to marry her. And it was just like, just the confidence of just like, yeah, like, why wouldn't she say yes? Like, I found her. Like, she's just this is going to be a good one for me. And I'm like,
I'll just pick her. But it is, but it is sweet though. It is sweet. There's something very sweet in that. I just have fun with her is what he's saying. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like my husband never was worried that he wasn't going to be able to like, get me. He was just like, he was basically just like, yeah, I guess I'll settle up here. Like, it was like his time to leave the bar. Yeah. That's how he saw it. Yeah. He's like, what do I owe you? Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and take this one. She's kind of a guess. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I love that you do in your act, you do very good voices and characters. And I like your whole point of view about the early 1950s movie and the way women were portrayed. And I think it is so funny of just like, and you did this one sketch I saw on your Instagram and it's so true. Like you're at a restaurant with a man and you like are about to order and then the guy's like, wait, just tell the story.
Well, I made my husband do this too all the time when we were first dating. I'll start my order and I make him interrupt me. And by the way, that's a good way for me when I was dating to decide whether I should go forward with the guy, whether a guy would be fun to be with.
You're just like,
so I'll go,
you have to make
and I'll
sure
be
your
like,
date is going to go and do a bit with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if they're willing to be humiliated publicly, then they're my guy. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you do?
They're willing to go along with my horse shit.
Yeah.
So I would just go out to dinner with him and I'd be like, well, I'll have a big fat pot roast with some taters on the side. And then maybe a macaroni and cheese too. Well, shit, I'm worth it, aren't? And then I would tell Pete to interrupt me and be like, no, she'll be having the salad. God damn it. Why would you even think you would order for yourself? And then the waiter would go away furious at him. But I always thought it was so funny.
Like the waiter would think he was such a rude, like Neanderthal.
Yeah, what a pig. Yeah. And also I'd make him take me out of places if we had to leave anyways. Yeah. I'm exhausting, by the way, to date, I'm sure. But we'd be like out someplace at a mall or whatever. We'd be in a store that we were going to leave anyways. We'd be in Costco and I'd be like, can you pick up my arm like this? He'd be like, that's it. We're leaving right now. I'm like, I don't want to go. It's not fair. I wanted to stay for another couple minutes. It's not fair. He's like, that's it. We're done. We're leaving right now. You don't get any more warnings. And I'm like, but it's not fair. I'm just a woman, but I deserve to have fun too. Let me just stay and do a twirl or whatever. And I just tell him to pick my arm up like this and just pull me out of the place. I love it when he just picks up my
You were never
tongue.
afraid that somebody would like look to see if you were doing like the hand signal for like trafficking and like call the
I should have
cops?
been. Yeah.
Then the cop comes and it's the guy you used to date. If you could do this as one of your episodes of your new sitcom, that's what it has to be.
Yeah, I was never like, I don't know. I mean, now I'm surprised he does it as much now that he is a chief. Like in our area where we live, it's like a lot of firefighter families. Like nothing could matter less where I live than just being a random Jew comic. I'm just some weird whore that takes Ubers at night. And nothing could matter more than being like the fucking fire chief. Like I live in a very, very conservative, very firefighter, first responder area, like so.
How fun.
It's my family, they're very different. They're just, my mother-in-law is just always cleaning and it's all about just, China. Life is all about her way of looking at the world is like the outside world is this daunting force that's coming to take everything from your family. And my mom's way of looking at the world is just like, can I adopt every beige person I see? Like it's just never, everybody can move in and then it'll fix it,
Is it comfortable when the in-laws get together or is it very rare that they ever do?
I think my mom, I joke about this on stage, how being so liberal, she's racist, but I think my mom is so excited that she's got a Latina in her family. It's like my mom loves my mother-in-law who's Colombian. So my mom's talking to her. She's just doing like an inner kind of jazzy Latin jig of delight. So she loves it, And my family, like my side of the family, they were like giving toasts about like immigration and stuff at the wedding. I'm like, can you guys shut? It's our wedding. Stop. Yeah. Is a lot. A lot of comics were there, and like Anthony DeVito was like, I remember when your dad gave that speech about immigration and didn't, a toast and didn't mention you or Pete. I'm like, yeah, that was a little weird. That's how I grew up. It was just like just like black men carrying coffins and like Steve Biko did not die in vain. I'm like, it's my bat mitzvah. Can you guys settle down for a fucking second? And his family, very much the extreme other way. They're very super conservative, So
yeah.
I feel like it's two extremes but my family is so excited.
Which does make a perfect sitcom. What?
There are a lot. Yeah, it is a crazy.
It is good.
They couldn't be more different. Yeah, they couldn't be more opposite. But I've been always very attracted to. I like just dusty fucking traumatized fucking men. I like dudes. Like just some. I don't like any irony. If I can remember what a guy's wearing, I don't want to remember your outfit. Then that means I'm not into you. Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, I really feel like high today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm here in my fucking blazer and I'm barely making sense. I mean, if a guy's outfit should not be a series of like sassy risks. I don't want some stylized man.
Oh,
that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
Just a normal shirt, a normal pants. You shouldn't know about clothes. You shouldn't know what they're called. That's fine.
What about when you do have to go to something? Will he wear what you say? Like,
yes, he wears whatever I say. That was when I
that's
knew that
good.
I wanted to marry him. I said, "Can I throw out some of the things in your closet?" And he was like, "Sure, whatever." Like he didn't care.
That's good.
He knows what he doesn't know. You know, I mean, sometimes it extends to like he's not exactly emotionally. He's a desert, but like his friends had lost somebody important in his life, and he's like, "Well, what do I do?" I'm like, "Well, reach out to him." Like, call him. He's like, "Well, what do I say?" And I'm like, well, just say you're thinking about him and, you're here for, but he really doesn't know. And he's just like he's shaky. He just hands me the phone to do the text. He doesn't know what to say in any of those moments. Like he has no idea, like none. Yeah. So he's not the guy that is going to soothe me. If I'm sad, I have to tell my husband, your hand should be on my lower back right now. Like I have to adjust his body language to my situation.
I have the exact same thing.
Do you? Yeah.
And I kind of, and again, I finally got to a place where I'm like, I'm just going to, like when people say, what's the secret to saying, no one ever asked me that, but if I was to say, what's the secret to staying married so long? It's kind of accepting what your partner is and their limitation and what can be changed and what can't. And a big part of what can be changed is your reaction.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get that. You can go running down the street hysterically crying, and he might not get in the car and follow you.
Oh, yeah.
So now you're down the street, and now you've made it a bigger thing. Like, now you've made it a much bigger thing, and you have to walk back. And while you're walking back, you're like, this is like, what am I doing to myself? Like, I don't know. I just think so much of it is just like and
not personalizing what they don't
personalize, and I don't believe that everything don't go to bed angry. I disagree.
Yeah.
Sometimes just go to bed. A new day is a beautiful gift from the universe.
And that is
every day there'll be a new day, hopefully. And because there might not be, you shouldn't waste a day.
Yeah, like our therapist gave us,
that you can't change.
And they're not really going to change. Just like I'm not going to change. I must be infuriating to live with. I'm shedding debit cards. I left my wallet at the hotel today. I had to use my friend's ID to get through the gate. Yeah. Do you shed debit cards too?
Shred?
Shedding debit cards.
What is shed mean?
I just leave them everywhere. I shed them. I shed debit cards.
What?
Because I don't know where my credit card is right now.
Yeah, like on the way in here, I was like, fuck, what if I took an Uber? I wouldn't have been allowed on the place. I'd left my wallet at home.
So yeah, I don't know what happened to my credit card. I know that it's in this house somewhere because I ordered something from TikTok and I took it out of my little wallet and I remember seeing it somewhere and I don't remember the rest. So we share the same credit card. So I'm like, I prayed to Saint Anthony to find it.
Yeah.
And I was really confident. I was really confident because I went to church for the first time in a while. Finally went to the first Catholic church in this neighborhood. So I was like, oh my God, I'm definitely going to find it today. I'm going to do the St. Anthony prayer. Like, I'm going to find it because I was just like dreading. So then I told Drake that I can't find the card, but I really don't think it's missing to the point where we have to cancel the whole thing because he uses it too. And it's like, on things, Was
he upset about it or no?
Well, listen, he is not Mr. Organized. I have brought home checks from the road that he has misplaced. And then I've had to call the venue and say, you know, we know it hasn't been cashed, so just reissue it. So no, he is not. So I have to remind him of that. Like, you're not a perfect person. Like, you have gotten in a car accident too, like it's not just me hitting the curb for fun. Okay. So anyway, so it's just like constant shit like that. So I just finally said, I have some bad news, and then he was like, thought it was something, really bad. And I go, I just don't know where this card is, and I'm like, and it turned out it's going to be fine because we're going to get a business one or something anyway. But no, I don't
I lose all of them. I don't know where anything is ever. Yeah, I fuck his life up. And his goal in life is not to get my shit fucking up his shit like when he wakes up in the morning because there's some sort of key he has that opens all the subway doors or whatever. I don't know. It's like some special universal fire chief subway key. Might have lost it.
How did you lose it?
I think this is our old place. I think we had, because now we have just like a code, but I think we, I borrowed the keys and I lost the keys with his, and he's like, that has my universal fucking subway key on it. And he's like,
That is a pretty bad mistake.
Oh my God, I fuck his life up so bad. I must be enraging to be with. Let me just make sure it's very clear here that I am very much half the problem. Like when we went on our honeymoon, I don't even realize that I'm being offensive sometimes. Like I was arguing with him about giving away the window seat, on a cross country flight being the ultimate sacrifice. And he's like, that's not the ultimate sacrifice. It's giving your life away. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a window seat on a fucking cross country flight. Like I don't even listen to myself and realize what a twat I am a lot of the times. But no, I lose everything. I fuck his shit up. Like, I'm sure our therapist gave us an assignment and they were like, you, for 1 week, think about, give Rachel one assignment of something that could make you happy or feel loved in this marriage. And, Rachel, ask Pete for one. And I said, maybe a compliment,
Yes, I ask for compliments.
He never
all
gives
the
me
time.
compliments.
Neither
Yeah.
does mine.
He won't give me a single. You know what he said? He says the material of what I'm wearing. He goes, denim. I'm like, no, you can't scream polyester. That's not enough. He says my materials of my clothing that's his compliment. Or if I go, do I look okay? He goes, want to know, you comfortable? Nobody fucking asked me if I was comfortable. I'm not giving birth. I'm asking. He's like, I don't know, are you comfy? Oh, fuck off. Yeah. No, he doesn't. Or if I say anything about my weight or something, he'll be like, well, I don't know, what are your goals? You don't ask the woman if she wants to be less fat. What are your goals? Do you want to be less of a pig than you are right now? I don't know. That's what I hear when he says that to me. What are your goals?
But this is really comforting because I think whatever your husband's shortcomings are in your mind, because you turn on TV or you see someone being like, oh, ooh, like my sister's husband is very complimentary to her and very like if she came out in an outfit, anything, he's just always like, look at your sister and all but then she's like, oh, he's so annoying, whatever. And or she'll complain that he, had to get a handyman to help bring in a tree, a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who cares? But she's like, yeah, but we had to bring Peter over to finally put up this chandelier or what. Now she can ask Drake. Now I'm like, you can ask any of them to just do what Michael doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
Because he bought you a Bottega bag and he says you're gorgeous. So to me, I think that's better. But to her, she's like, I would like someone that would know how to put in a chandelier. It's everybody has their thing.
Yeah. My husband got me, the Costco pajamas or fucking one of those plastic tins full of candy from Costco. I'm like, fuck off. Fuck you. I told him not to get me stuff like this, but he just only gets me those things. He's not that guy. He's not the lavishing. A few years in, we kind of both just don't give gifts that involve one of us going to a store, really. I don't do it because in the beginning of him being into golf, I would go and get golf stuff. And he was just okay, Travis Matthews was having a 30% off sale. I know how to get the clothes. I have the so now I'm like, I'm not going to go try and buy you. So now you make a meal or do something like that?
No.
But you do. This is fascinating. No, I need to adopt it so I'm not so sad every time my birthday rolls around.
Well, and for my whole life, I've planned my birthday, whatever. I have friends that will say, hey, we're tonight I'm going to a girls' dinner. I have groups of girls and we'll do a girls' dinner thing. With my husband, I will say for my birthday, this is what I'd like to do. That's a great way to do a trip. I like a Cabo weekend trip thing. And now I'll say this is what I want to do. And then he'll be like, well, I'm doing this for my birthday, whatever. The actual birthday, we do cards and do something nice. But yeah, we both, it's a waste for him to go and try and buy me a handbag.
Yeah.
And it's a waste for me to go buy, some golf shirt that he knows that he could get 50% off.
Yeah, my
and
husband
that's
wants
gonna,
to get everything discounted, too.
infuriate
Yeah.
it. Yeah, like my husband's very like
loves the fucking
financially all
discount.
about
Yeah.
the discount, the cheap, the deal.
He notices every time he's overcharged for something. Like it could be like a nickel
my
over.
God,
And
I
he's
know.
on the phone. People could be robbing me blind right now. I probably pay for every hotel I go to like 3 times. I never check anything. Yeah. He like meticulously. I mean, his goal for me was to put the caps back on everything in the medicine cabinet. They were like, what would make you feel loved by your wife? And it's like, he's like, put the caps back on everything. You know, and I live a capless life. I'm a capless bitch, and I'm sure it's annoying to be with me, but I don't know. He always goes, why don't you just put your things back in the same place? I'm like, you assume that I know what my hands are doing. It feels like they go away from my body. They take trips. I don't know what they're up to, you know, but I'm always like, I'm not that. But look, he's also not the guy that's going to compliment. You know, like that's not his deal. And by the way, if I compliment him, he doesn't need it. I could be like, you look so hot. He's like, whatever. He's like,
I try to do it thinking that it would result in a compliment back. I'm like, that's a cute new jacket.
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It's this thing where they send me the clothes once a month, whatever it does.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
I'm like, see how I give you I want the compliment. So now I realized several years ago, like it's just not, I don't think it's a conscious, I don't do it. I just think some people are going to do that and then they're just not. And I also wonder if because like who can say that their partner honestly is getting accolades and love on a daily basis for what they do, which is, you know, people saying your thing is funny, going to your show, being excited to see you. And I kind of feel that they're like, well, then why do I have to do it?
That's kind of my husband, yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think they think
he doesn't
like
think
that.
it through, but that's what he's doing.
I don't think my husband is sitting back and going like, I'm not going to tell her that she looks incredible and that's my favorite dress that she ever wears. You know, I'm not going to say that because she gets it enough from the Juicy Scoopers. I don't think he thinks it like that. I just think.
Yeah, my husband.
And I think back to the early days, and when you're younger and there's no kids, maybe you're a little more like romantic, but it wasn't that different.
It wasn't much. Our first date, I took off my jacket, and my husband just goes, "Sun's out, guns out." I'm like, that was like my big compliment. Yeah, it usually rhymed. It was so stupid. When he was set up with me, my friend, or this other fireman that set us up, he sent my husband a text. He's like, any interest in meeting a semi-famous Jewish jokester? The least arousing expression I've ever heard put together.
Oh my God, a semi-famous Jewish jokester. Any interest in meeting her?
Yeah, and then my husband wrote, they screenshotted me this, and I saw a picture of him. I thought he was hot, but I was like, I'll meet him in spite of this response. But Pete wrote back like, single, ready to mingle. There's always a rhyme, and I was like, oh God, Christ. But then I was like, I'll meet him. Yeah, he's pretty cute, but that's him. There's just like a rhyme or something like that. One time he wrote me this beautiful card, and it was about growing old together, and it was some of them. I was crying when I was reading it, and I said to him from the therapist told me to give an assignment. I was like, just write me like a beautiful card about what you think about. Usually his cards read like a 7th grader's yearbook. He always it's always a lot of numbers. He's like, 1 kid, 1 house, 5 years. We could do anything. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with me or you or our marriage? It's usually just like 1 wife, 1 child. Anything's possible. Have a great summer. Like it's the dumbest thing you've ever read in your life. So she was like, she's like, I was like, write a real card about like how you feel about me. So he wrote this long thing about growing older. And then there was a picture on it of me and him as old, or 2 old people holding hands, like a drawing. And I was like, this is beautiful. And he's like, yeah, well. And then I thought, I'm going to go ahead and Google these words. And he absolutely stole it from the internet. Every fucking word and the drawing on it. Just fully plagiarized. Yeah. Before that, he gave me roses with a note in it that one of the other firemen put in it that said, roses, fastest way to say I love you, sides fucking. That's how he said I love you to me, by the way.
Besides
I'm like, is this
fucking?
Sides. He didn't even spell besides. First time he gave me flowers, first Valentine's Day. And there was a card inside, fastest way to say I love you, sides fucking. And I was like, Pete, did you write this? Because it was typed up, you know? And he goes, I think Anthony from the Firehouse put it in there. So, but I was like, but he hadn't said I love you yet. So this was his way of saying I love you. I had to be like, wait, is this mean? Is this you trying to? He's like, well, I was going to say it tonight at some point. Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Every Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and birthday, I do get Costco roses.
Yeah.
And I love them. And for a long time, I don't know if it's still the case, it's 2 dozen a bushel, okay? So 24 roses. And one Valentine's Day I came home and there was only 12. And I, for like a second, because I always was that person that's like, I don't want to ever walk around the earth like being so confident, like, not me, you know, whose husband doesn't cheat, like, you know. So I'd always like imagine like the worst case scenario, like if I came home and his car was there, I'm like, what if I just walked in and it's just like he and a dude were fucking in the living room? Like, I have to just prepare my brain for that. So if I see it, I don't like lose my mind, whatever. So, you know, because I always think about all those like housewives and stuff that would talk about like my man, and those are always like the worst marriages, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think the fact that I don't like over glamorize this like is what's keeping us, you know, on the track. So anyway, I was like, oh my God, like where is the other dozen? Like how is, like, I'm just not going to notice. That's what. And I was like kind of joking, but kind of not. So I think I like did like a story or something about it. Like, you guys, I guess this is it. Like, Peter has another family that we've never known about. And where are the other flowers? And then someone like wrote and was like, no, Heather, on like, I just went to the Costco and on Valentine's Day, they are splitting them up. Like there are ones where there are probably ones you could still buy 24, but once he saw you could only buy 12, that's plenty.
That's plenty.
That's
That's what
plenty.
Pete would say too. You had to get whatever's fastest. Yeah. Yeah, that's my husband too.
So that was my, yeah.
Yeah, usually it's not that deep. Yeah. And it's kind of helps to know that sometimes. Yeah. But I would have thought the same thing too. I mean, you never know. But I mean, I feel like, yeah, with Pete, usually there's not some complicated
Wait, your
story.
husband's name is Pete too. I just realized that.
Yeah.
And mine's Peter.
Yeah.
But it's always weird when people call him Pete. Like his new friend, like new friends and stuff will be like, "What's up with Pete?" I always remember. I was like, I've never called him Pete in my entire life. I only call him Peter.
Now, sometimes I call him Peter, but usually most people call him Pete, so I call him that. But his mom calls him Peter, and his mother was always encouraging him to go to therapy. And I always think about how she used to go, Peter needs to get to know Peter. Peter needs to get to know Peter. And I was grateful. I was like, yeah, he does. Yeah. But he would probably just go to therapy and talk about like the flooring in the house or how the floors weren't level or something like that. Yeah. Peter needs to get to know Peter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Well, I love that we have so much in common.
I know. I think that I feel like our husbands would probably really hit it off.
Oh my God, they would totally hit
My husband
off.
loves Costco so much. Like, he's obsessed with it. We honeymoon through Costco, everything.
I'm a little bit sad because now Peter is doing Instacart from Costco.
Oh, he is doing Instacart. Yeah.
And he's like, and I go, but to me, it's very fun
To go.
to go.
Yeah.
I like to go, and I like to go with as many family people as possible that are around because I like to look what they have, and I like to be like, would we want this? Do we want this? Mm-hmm. I like to look at the furniture. There's something so comforting. To me, it's one of the happiest places on earth. Like, if I find out that my husband and son went to Costco without me, I don't know. It just really bums me out. I don't know why I like it so much. I just still do.
It is satisfying to just be able to.
I just like to see all the new what they
Yeah,
what
like
they're-
when they have new
or
specials.
like there's
and
like
stuff.
furniture or there's some like weird thing
Or the
and-
samples when they have
Oh
the
my-
I
I
hurl
always
any
love the
sample in my
samples.
face. No, when they start to describe it to me, like this is what it is. I'm like, that's enough. It's going right in my dumb face. No questions
Yeah.
asked. Yeah.
or when it's just like a weird piece of bread. I'm like, come on, with like a little
Yeah, no,
butter
you
on
gotta-
it. I'm
you
like,
gotta put
that's
some
not an
more.
appetizer.
No, I love a sample. I love free samples. Since I was a kid, I've always loved them.
I remember the day they stopped the samples due to COVID.
That was fucked up. That was
That
the
was-
hardest part for me.
That was honestly so awful. Like it was it. That was it. It was like
hardest part was
right
that
before
and
the
not being able to get
shutdown.
a
They
blowout.
stopped the what? What did you say about the
The
blowout?
samples and not being able to get a blowout for me. I was fucked. I was pregnant, and that was still the hardest part for me. Not being able to get a blowout, like having
Yeah.
somebody blow my hair out. Like the truth was coming out about how I really look. I rely on a team of people to paint an active lie on me. I'm like, I have to give birth without a blowout? Fuck this. Yeah, I wanted to look better.
My mom, every photo that she had after giving birth, she would wear her own nightie, like bring her own, she called it a nightie, her own thing. and she would get her hair done.
Yeah.
And then she said, I was so late that it was such a problem because she kept like wrapping it around in toilet paper every night so it could stay. Cause it was the bouffant, like whatever. And cause she was, had to take that one photo. And back then they would just put gas on your face.
Yeah.
And they somehow take the forceps. I don't know how they got it out if you weren't like actively pushing. And then they would she said, then they would tap you and say it was a boy, it was a girl. Take the baby, and then she would wake up and
put
take
you
the
down
photo
fully for the birth. You mean?
Yes.
By the way, that sounds fantastic. Just to have somebody knock you right out and just be like a gift to your baby. Oh my God, I didn't know they put you fully out
Back then. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
what
and then
everything
they were
was about setting your hair.
Well,
in
also
those
they were like,
days.
that's really bad. Like what kind of drugs went into the child's system? That's good. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Gen Xers are. I don't know what we are. This was so great.
just so
Tell
fun.
everybody, I know you do a lot of stand-up. You're on the road. Where can they get more of you in their life?
You can go to my, follow me on Instagram, Rachel Feinstein _. I post a lot of my dates there, or go to my website, rachel-feinstein.com. I'm hurling myself to a lot of different places. And when I'm not at home, just stirring an empty bowl, waiting for my husband to come home and give me meaning again. But that's how it was to be. It used to be. You just would set your hair. Like that was half your life was setting your hair and just waiting for the same guy to come back home again. I mean, it is good we can go on stage and talk shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no point to what I'm saying. I should be cut off and blocked by now, by the way.
Wait, I have to ask you, what do you think about like the trad wife movement of like young Gen Zers that marry and they like make their own bread? And do you follow any of those girls?
Yes, I do.
And like the joy of it and all of that.
I think that they're all snacking on Xanax all day because they all look like they are. And I've always thought about those group wives when they're married when your husband has like 7 different wives.
Right.
Yeah. And then just like, everything's fine. Well, me and Jenny and all the girls get along. Yes, we do. That is a Xanax voice. I think they're chomping on hard meds all day and then they need dough. And then they're fine.
There's a lot of, I remember when I did like that Wise Guys in Salt Lake City, and it was one of those 5-show weekends where you just have like the afternoon to yourself. Mm-hmm. And I was like walking around and there were so many ads for drug addiction places because I do think because they don't drink alcohol and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of them do get on some other altering things and then become sadly addicted.
Yeah, because their eyes, they look like they're not in their own
Yeah.
bodies. Like they're fucking, they have left the building. Yeah. I think look, I tried to do some of those, when I had a toddler, I watched a lot of those videos and I try to do a lot of those different activities with her. But I don't buy it I like the whole idea, like don't get them much toy rotation, all that kind of shit. But when you have a little kid that age, especially toddler, mine's 5 now. She's not really a toddler anymore, but like your house is jacked up. Shit is everywhere.
Right.
So are those like minimalist ladies that are like, I just weed dough and then we go look for pretty things in nature. Like I tried to do that, yes, but things just get hurled. There's smears everywhere. There's just I already have smears myself. Like I'm always worried about like leaving debris or just excreting tanning salon lotions and shit on people's furniture. I don't buy it. If you have a spotless home and you have a toddler, I don't believe you. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, I don't believe you. Yeah, that you're just kneading dough and then just these neat little activities. No, it's not like that. Yeah. Shit's a little more jacked up. But I think the dresses are cute. I love dresses and I love those old like country dresses. And
I can see the
corset.
desire of it, but I don't think it can last forever. So get your education, girls. Get your education and make your own money.
That's right. Make your own money. You don't know what the fuck your husband's doing. He comes in the last frame and puts his arm around us like, how's it going, little lady? Like, yeah, he could be anywhere inside of it. He could be at a glory hole for the rest of the day. You don't know what the fuck he's up to. Yeah, get a check from somewhere.
All right, we're going to go to lunch.
Speaking of glory holes.
All right. Love you. Bye.